No pressure.
So Dave's the owner of Kayak Connection, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him better because my office space is right upstairs.
We get all her man.
Yeah, and my dog when he gets off the leash. Yeah. So thank you so much. And since you don't have a presentation, your face and your voice are extra important. Talk to the owl.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at the web audience, you can look that way. Yeah.
Squat?
No. Don't worry about it. All right. Thanks, Dave.
Just gonna ignore this. I'll talk to you guys. Well, good morning, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. I've heard a lot of fascinating things this morning, and like Jenna said, my wife and I own Kayak Connection. We've got a location right down the way in the Elkhorn Slough and one in the Santa Cruz Harbor. And I wanted to start today by telling you a story of Amanda from San Juan Bautista, who came to see me this weekend. It was Amanda's 12th birthday, and she had her family with her, and there was about 10 family members, and Amanda was so excited. She had in her mind a goal to find a sea otter and pet the sea otter, as they often do. And I didn't want to immediately rain on Amanda's parade. So I engaged with her and her family and found out more about where they were from, what they were excited about, and what they had in mind. And I talked a little bit about how otters are members of the mustelid family. And I talked about some other members of the mustelid family, like wolverines, badger. Now, you wouldn't go up to a badger and pet a badger. But I also, what really seemed to land with Amanda is another story that I like to tell. It's the story of Barbara and Bella. Okay. Barbara is a mama sea otter out in the slough, and Bella is her new pup. And Barbara is having a rough time. We've been able to count Barbara's ribs. They've got folks from Moss Landing Marine Lab studying her. Monterey Bay Aquarium is on standby to come help if needed, but Barbara's having a rough time. Bella is sapping her, and she's having a rough time because kayakers often, intended or unintended, will disturb her from taking care of Bella. And the metabolic cost is proving to be a bit much. And I saw Amanda, I saw it like, it really landed with Amanda. And so I tasked Amanda with being on the lookout for Bella and Barbara and making sure that her family made sure to respect the distance. And not just with Barbara and Bella, but with all the wildlife, the harbor seals, the birds, everything. And she had a job now. She had a mission. And it was no longer to pet a random otter, but to protect Barbara and Bella. Now, Barbara and Bella, I just made them up. But they're out there, right? They're out there. And Barbara and Bella can be any mama and pup that they happen to see. Well, you saw them? Absolutely, that had to be Barbara and Bella. Well, they came back, and she had indeed found Barbara and Bella. And the mom pulled me aside later and said that she was like a traffic cop out there directing people away from some of the harbor seals resting on beaches. She was an on-water docent at 12 years old. And with any luck, worked for me 6 or 7 years. Yeah. Oh. And you. Yeah. So, you know, I've been fortunate enough to do what I do for the past 11 years, and I am not a psychologist, but I've seen a lot of human behavior, and the human animal is the most challenging, unpredictable one we have. But we're tasked with trying to encourage good behavior and discourage bad behavior amongst those human animals with which we work and encounter. And at Kayak Connection, we put literally tens of thousands of people on the water. And our interaction with a lot of those people is limited to about 10 to 15 minutes, right? We're gearing them up. They're excited to be there. They've driven there from Modesto. They've been in the car for hours. Kids have been yelling. They're pooped. So they're fried when they show up often. So we need to make sure that we give them the salient information. We don't overload them with anything. If I told you guys 10 numbers, and then at the end of that, I asked you to give me 3 of those back, pretty likely you would. But maybe not the 3 I needed, right? So what I tell people, don't go too far and give the wildlife lots of space. That's really it. That's the thrust. But if I tell them, here's where to find an avocet and the life cycle of a nudibranch and all these interesting things, they might remember that stuff, but might forget, don't go too far. Who's kayaked out here? Who's kayaked on the slough? Who's kayaked on the slough in like 13 knot winds and an incoming? Okay. So really quickly, if you're a mile or 2 back and the tide's pushing in and you're facing a headwind, your priorities become getting back quickly. Your priority for protecting wildlife just sloughs right off. If you're tired, you will paddle right through a raft of otters really quickly. So we really work on focusing on what are the important things to impart to people, and how do we get those things to land. And what I found in my experience, it's stories, not statistics, right? We humanize things. We talk about past experiences. That's how I'm able to get those things to resonate. And again, I send them off my dock. I say a little prayer to the universe that they're not complete assholes. And sometimes they are, as right? Sometimes they are. We all occasionally get a bad apple. But I think for the most part, I am very optimistic. I see the bright side. My wife, who wasn't able to join us today, she was a plaintiff's attorney. She's the pessimist side. She sees it down. She keeps me in check a little bit. But no, I really believe that most people are well-intended and do not want to cause harm. And I think the way that we transfer that information is really important. And if we I've tried many ways, droning on and on about numbers, I just see eyes rolling back a lot of the time. I mean, it lands with some people, engineers, different cultures, but for the most part, it just doesn't work. So I think language is really important, and the style in which we impart the information is really important. We talk about the Monterey Bay and the Elkhorn Slough in particular with reverence, with respect. This is not a houseboat party where you're getting hammered at Lake Powell, right? This is a really special place. And when we do that, it resonates with people, right? That's the sort of stuff that gets them to slow down, gets them to appreciate where they are. I had some notes. I'm just kind of speaking extemporaneously here. I think the other audience you have is people like me and Dick, right? And Monterey Bay Eco Tours. Was it Amanda? Wendy. Small business owners, right? Outfitters, people who are your conduits for the public to get out and enjoy this. I would like to think that we are small business owners because we have an amazing business acumen, and that's not really the case in my experience. It's typically because we have a deep, stubborn, independent streak that makes us terrible employees. So the only option is to work for ourselves. Am I right?
Started on profit.
Oh, yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So the way in which we approach those people is really important too. It's, hey, we're all on the same team. Can you help? Can you help? Here's how we can help you achieve your goals. Because at the end of the day, the conservation of the resource is critical to the commercial fisherman, to the kayak shop owner, to the eco tour owner. Like that's why people are coming to see us. And I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys all know that. But in dealing with folks like me, I think it's really, really important to emphasize, hey, we're all on the same side here, and you are our most powerful impactor of mass numbers of people. And let's work towards this goal together. And here's how we can help. And Jen has been instrumental. And I will admit, when we first interacted, it was not good. No, I had the feeling of, don't tell me how to run my business. We take care of the wildlife. I don't need you telling me how. And you've had that with
Every single
one, really. That makes me feel better. Okay.
Except maybe Wendy.
All right. And for the first couple of years, I was just like, screw you. Taking care of these things myself. We got this. And I think your approach has changed. And you won me over. Like, absolutely. I'm all in. But it took a while. And since then, as we've tried to pull in other shop owners, I've reached out on Sea Otter Savvy's behalf and tried to talk to them from a colleague's perspective with mixed success. But I think it's important to talk to those folks as if just make it clear we're all on the same team. We need to do this together. I think that's all I have. I appreciate the time. It's an honor to be asked to speak. Thank you, everybody.